I'm Emily, the Prarie Home Stitcher, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is Flosstube number 4, I believe. Yes, number 4, and it is September 15th, and it's the evening. Usually I film in the morning or afternoon, but it's the evening this time because the Chiefs were playing the Bengals, and yeah, I kind of had to watch. I like watching some football. I'm the only one in my house that, well, my daughter sometimes, ironically. We're the ones who watch football. My husband he's a hockey guy. He just does not care. So it's been a week. I just want to welcome all 425 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing and for your amazing comments that have I just love it. I love hearing from you guys. I love the connection throughout the 2 weeks to just, feel connected to the community. It's amazing. So keep commenting. I try to respond. If it's like a short comment, I usually won't. But, especially if you're asking a question, I will respond. So, make sure that you do like, comment, and subscribe on the video. It does help me out with the algorithm so that we can continue to build an amazing community through this channel, which is the goal, is that. And then I also have a Facebook and an Instagram, the Prarie Home Stitcher, on both Facebook and Instagram. So on Facebook, there's a profile that I haven't done anything with, and then there's the group. So for like any major updates of patterns or anything like that, it's going to be in the Prarie Home Stitcher group itself. So just make sure that you are joining that. And there are questions. So if I decline your application to get into the group, it's most likely because you didn't answer the questions. And the reason the questions are important is just to make sure that there aren't scammers, because I know in a lot of Facebook groups, even like especially in crafting groups, there are people who just want to get in there to scam others and to create havoc, and I just will not deal with that. So they're just simple questions, not trying to pry or anything, but it does help me know that you are human. Or that you are an actual cross stitcher or crafter. So if you would do that, that would be awesome. And I'm not trying to snub anybody. It's just a precaution for all of us. And we have, I think it was in the 30s last time I checked, maybe 40 something people in that group, which is awesome. And a lot of people have been sharing their projects, which I love. So continue to do that. It is, I'm enjoying your company. So go over there and go ahead and join. So, life updates for this last 2 weeks. Not too terribly much has been going on, which is nice. Let's see. We had HCA again, and Sam has been doing better in kindergarten. He does need to have a fidget toy, but other than that, I think he's really starting to understand how the classroom setting works, and he's doing really well with it. So that is a praise. My daughter's doing just fine. She's got show and tell next week, so she's super excited. Just if you can keep my family, especially me, in your prayers. We have an opportunity with school that would be a huge change for us. I won't go into the details. When I have more definitive, when I have a conversation with this person, I will go into more detail. But we have an opportunity with a Christian school that is local, and I am struggling. It's great. And I homeschool, but I think I am struggling with the idea of letting go I've homeschooled my daughter up through third grade into fourth grade. And I think just kind of my identity has been built around being mom, their mom, and kind of being the center of their world, that now the idea of them going to school kind of shook me. So it's not like it's necessary, it's just an opportunity that would be, you know, is amazing for our family if we go that route. If we don't, it'll still be fine. It's not like it's a dire thing. It's just it was an option given out, and we have to kind of consider it. So yes, just pray, because yeah, I got a lot of prayer of weighing pros and cons with that one. So, and I'll try to put a clip of the next thing that happened this week up. My daughter wanted to learn how to ride the lawnmower. So my husband helped teach her, but my daughter is very tiny. So, you know, like, I'm not the tiniest person, I know that, but she is very small. She's very petite, very thin, very tiny. And we always told her that, you know, we'll teach you how to ride the lawnmower when you can reach the pedals. She's 9, and she may not be reaching the pedals anytime soon. So my husband, being amazing, went and modified the lawnmower and like rigged something up with the gas pedal and stuff, and messed with the seat, because she also doesn't weigh enough to trigger the seat because she's so small. So we got her, and she started learning to just drive it for now, and man, she's good. So I'm excited. We've got 5 acres, and I would be happy to let her just go off and mow for me, because I'm usually the one that mows. So that was exciting. We went to the local library, which is it's smaller, but it was so much fun. It's amazing how they have that run for such a tiny town and a tiny library. The ladies there are amazing, and we did a scavenger hunt, and we did they had some STEM computer stuff set up for my kids to do, and like a Lego station and all kinds of things, and we got some books. So that was fun. I'd never gone in there before. We've lived here 2 years, and I just hadn't gone to the local library. We've gone to the big one up in the city. So that was fun. And then we had my grandfather and my aunt had their birthdays this last weekend, so we went and celebrated that. And my cousin has a boyfriend. My aunt is closer in age to being my sister, just because of weird family stuff, and so my cousins are more like my nieces and nephews. So it was really exciting to meet her boyfriend, and so I did not know that was happening. I don't even know how long she knew that was happening, but he's a great guy, and it was interesting to see my aunt kind of adjusting to her kids getting old enough to have boyfriends, you know, being in their late to late teens, so like, you know, 16 up. So that was, wow, that was a lot. When did they get that big? I don't know, and they need to stop until they have the babies, and then yeah, they're mine. I get to hold the babies. So yeah, so that was probably about all this week. It hasn't been too crazy, just life as usual. I'm utilizing the pause more just so I can kind of gather my thoughts. So I will go right into my whips. So as usual, my first one that I have been working on has been Name of Jesus by My Big Toe Designs. So it's this one, as usual. And so this is the third video that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to totally get to the spot that I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to the finish of the border plus the words. No. But lots of progress on that. A lot better than last week. Last week was terrible. This is much better. So this is where I'm at. I finished the corner. And I even got the red in. I got all the way over and down. And then I started on the lettering. So I just need to remind myself that this border is crazy. It is difficult to follow, very difficult to follow. And there's a lot of stitches. It doesn't necessarily, there's enough open that you think, oh, it's nothing, it's not a big deal. No, it's a big deal. There is a lot here. So yeah, I think it's looking, get really close. There we go. It's looking really, really good. I love how the thread is working, and I'm excited to finally get to some words. That border, my goodness. I could use a break, and I probably will take one. Now that I've got that corner section done, because that was a headache to try to navigate, because if you can tell here, it mirrors right there. So you get used to stitching these little branches one direction, and then it like mirror flips, and so then you kind of have to get used to it going the other way. So yeah, counting on that is fun. Not really, but I did it and I got through it, and now we're on to my favorite part, which is the letters. And I love stitching letters, so that is my first work in progress. My next one is Polar Pack by Plum Street Samplers. I'm gonna put a picture of it here because I don't have my working copy right now, so whichever side. So here it is. There they are. Now, I am very proud of myself with this because there is over one in this pattern. There's not a lot, but there's a little bit. So I fudged the over one. I don't know if you can see in the baby bear right in there. I did the over one on Ada. Oh, it's doable, guys. You can do it. Not fun, but you can do it. It is doable. And I think it looks fine. I need to get his little eyes in and his little nose, but yeah. I made a lot of progress on this. It's a lot of stitches on these bears. They are big bears, but yes, I just about got, you know, the medium bear done, and then baby bear just needs his little face, and then Papa Bear down here is gonna be, there'll be a lot of white, but I am happy with my progress there. I really like the color grits, which I believe is what this is. So I stitched this, I stitched this on 16 count Glacier by Picture This Plus using the called for Floss, which is a mixture of DMC and Classic Colorworks, I believe, and Weeks Dye Works. But yeah, just getting the needle back on. But yeah, I really like the color grits. I think it's beautiful. So there we go. There's that. And then my last whip here is I Do Declare by the Prarie Home Stitcher, which is our chicken. Our chicken. I'll put her up so you can see. I made a lot of progress on her. There she is. I got her tushy done. Got her tail. Her tail is done. And now I'm heading into her dress. The ruffles were fun. I'm actually enjoying stitching her. She has kind of been my relaxing stitch because there is a lot of the same color packed in there. And a part of me kind of wondered if I shouldn't have designed it with maybe more shading. But at the same time, there's a lot of people who do that. And then when I was designing her, I was trying to design it with simplicity in mind, which is why instead of doing like shading, I did outline, right? So her tail is outlined in a darker color than the fill color, right? And I'm sure it would probably look better if I had overdyes, but I don't. So that was my thought process behind it, was to kind of use the outline of it to shade, if that makes any sense. So it's a little more doodly. I don't know if that makes sense. And it's fun to me. It's fun to stitch because I can kind of just, it's very much giving me like coloring book feeling where you're just kind of filling in and you don't necessarily have to think too hard about the counting. If you can get the outline, get the outline in there and get it to a good point, you can just kind of relax and just fill. The ruffles were a little, you definitely had to pay attention to those, which I did the same with the ruffles. If you can see in the pattern, I did like a darker white or like a grayishy white or beige color, and then filled it with the white so that when you look back you can still see kind of the definition of the ruffles without having to switch a ton of DMC colors. So that is the thought process behind how I designed her. So it's probably not everybody's cup of tea stitching something that way, but it is proving to be very relaxing, and that's kind of what I think a lot of us use cross stitch for, is to relax. So yeah, she's coming along quite nicely. I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like when it's done. So yeah. I do have one finish, which I had started last video, which is Blessings Abound, and I forgot to pull the pattern. Hold on. All right, I found it. Sorry, I paused to go try to find it. So yes, I started Blessings Abound by Plum Street Samplers. Here's the pattern. I started it last video and I finished it this week, and I did a little bit of a different finish on it. I fully finished it. I am not super pleased with how I finished it, but it's fine. My husband said it looks fine, but yeah, it'll be fine. But yes, I did it like this. So there it is, all fully finished, a little lumpy, but yes, I thought about doing it in just a square, and then I thought I'd get really creative and add, I've seen some done like this where you have like the cross stitch on one side and then a nice piece of fabric on the other, and then when I went to sew it together, I guess I didn't, this space right here was way wider than the border, just in the way that after it was stuffed. So then I went and found some ribbon I had, and I just kind of tacked it down here, and I mean, I think it looks okay. It was a lesson learned. So yeah, here it is. I'm sure it'll grow on me. But yes, I enjoyed stitching this very much. The over one was nice, the colors were great. Yeah, it really wasn't too terribly difficult. I did have some ripping out because I miscounted, I think it was up in here at one point, and I had to tear a whole bunch of stuff out. But if you stitch it, I think what I was trying to do was get some of this green in before getting some of these pumpkins in, and that was a no-no. So if you do stitch this, I would maybe try to get, you know, some of these pumpkins and stuff in. But yeah, the over one was nice. I think it's just really cute. Love the little bird and the acorn. So yeah, this will be ready for fall here, and I'll put it up, probably up on my fireplace mantle. So yeah, I did a fully finish. I didn't do anything with sticky board like I kind of thought I would try, but yeah, I need to get over that, and I need to try. So the other thing I do have to show that is not my work in progress, but it is my daughter's work in progress. She is with her grandma today, or this evening, which is why I have the house to myself, part of it. My husband's with the baby running to Home Depot. So my daughter Evelyn, has been working on stitching this ornament that was sent to me through some happy mail by D. And my daughter really liked it and wanted to stitch it, so I got it all set up for her, and I showed her basics on cross stitch, which she is doing a pretty good job. She needs to learn that you really do need to sit down and do it and stop trying to walk around while you're stitching, or you're gonna lose her place. So here is hers. You can see that she has had we've had to rip out a lot from being distracted and not paying attention, but she is definitely learning, and she said she really likes it. I will have her on, I don't want to put her face on the video just because of internet safety, but I did tell her off camera she could talk about it. Next time that I film, I will have her sit next to me and she can, you know, she can hold it up and show you guys what she's been working on. So that's really exciting to have that, to be able to do that with her. She did say that she didn't want to do it in this ornament with the wooden border because she really likes how Mom does the pillows. So she wants to do a pillow ornament. We'll see what happens when we get there. So yeah, that's really all the stitching. I know this is probably going to be a really short video this week, which is probably a good thing. I did get some happy mail over the last 2 weeks, but I was requested to not share about it other than to say that I received happy mail. So if I tackle one of the patterns that were sent to me, I will just mention that it came from happy mail. And so I think that's how I will approach that in the future, because I do have plans on stitching some of the patterns and using some of the cloth that was sent. So I will respect this kind person's wishes and just say that I received happy mail and that I am ecstatic and grateful, and she had no idea the impact it made, and that, you know, one of the things she sent was exactly what I needed for something. So that'll be exciting to tackle that in the future. I was going to order my cloth for A Savior's Praise, but this last 2 weeks, but the shop owner was on vacation. So I am waiting for her to get back so that I can place my order and get that cloth. And oh, I want to stitch it so bad. I'm so excited. I have been toying with the idea of doing, I don't know if make it like a super official stitch along, but I have heard of people doing like Zoom groups where you're all kind of working on the same project. I'm gonna play with, I don't know, I'll think about it. I'm not sure how that's done. I've never done it before, but if that's something that you'd be interested in, leave a comment so that I know. Yeah, I know that there have been a lot of people talking about wanting to stitch A Savior's Praise, but it's huge. So I get it. It's a big undertaking, but yeah, if there's enough people, why not just, we'll stitch it together and we can figure it out from there. If one of you guys have done a stitch along or something, reach out to me. You can email me or leave a comment. My email's in the description and in the YouTube profile, so that's how you can reach me. Yeah, I think it would be really interesting to see if that's something we can do. So I have also been developing another free pattern. I think what I am going to do is it's done, but it's not put into a PDF format yet. So what I'm thinking I will do is in a week, I'll give myself a week. So next Monday, I will make a separate video announcing the pattern and showing the pattern and maybe talking about it a little more than I did the last one. So then, yeah, so then people who want to find out about it don't have to sift through an entire Flosstube to find out about it. It'll just be its own extra video. I will say that it is words, some, but if you love sunflowers, you will love this. And it is definitely a pattern that you can stitch for somebody who has been an important part of your life. It would make a wonderful, wonderful gift for somebody. It is still smaller, so I would, what is it, like 100 by 70? So it's a rectangle, right? It's not huge. So it was a lot of work. I am excited, and I will share more about that later. Again, if you want access to any patterns that I do make, you'll have to join. The easiest way for me to do that is to put it up in the files on the Facebook group. So if you want to have access to the free patterns that I make, then you'll have to join the Facebook group. So I also have plans for a pattern in October. I have it sketched out, but I haven't actually worked on it yet. It is not a typical autumn pattern, but it is going to be very meaningful. So October is Infant Loss Awareness Month, and I know it's also like Halloween and stuff, but I don't think we give a lot of attention, especially in the cross stitch community. I don't recall seeing any patterns that are made for people who have lost a child, an infant, or have had a miscarriage. I have had to go through that before I had my daughter, my oldest, and it was very difficult. And so designing this pattern that will be coming in October is going to be very healing, I think. Sorry, I'm looking at my sketch. So, yeah, I think it'll be very exciting down the road. There's a lot that's going to be coming, and I'm excited to share that with you guys as a way to say thank you. And like I believe I posted this in the Facebook group, that I view my patterns that I'm making as a ministry more than a moneymaker. I'm not trying to make a living or a career off of designing cross-stitch patterns. I do it because I find it's very fun, and I find it a great creative outlet. And when I was starting to cross stitch, not having a lot of income, I and I still do rely on free patterns a lot. So I want to be able to create neat and special patterns that people can find and stitch without having to spend any money on it, or very minimal money on it. So that's why whenever I do design them, I'm kind of thinking, like with the chicken, for example. Yeah, hold her up. With her, my needle. With our lovely chicken, for example, keeping in mind that some people only have access to Ada and some people only have access to DMC. That's kind of where my thought process was when I've designed all of the ones that I've been working on, is keeping them Ada friendly and DMC friendly. You could definitely, like, I'm stitching my chicken on linen, and she looks just fine, looks really good. You could even sub some of these colors for overdyes and it would look really, really good. It doesn't matter, but I also want to make sure that if you're going to stitch it with DMC, it looks good. So I just want it to be budget friendly, and having, I don't necessarily want them to be like teeny weenies, super teeny tinies. So that's why they've been a little bit bigger. I've kind of been keeping them to the like 100. I usually start with like 100 by 100 grid, and that's where that's the space I'm designing in. Obviously, if it needs to go a little bit out, but I'm trying to keep it in that space so it's manageable but big enough that it's gonna keep you busy for a little bit. So that's my thoughts behind on how I've been approaching it. Yeah, because I've had a lot of people ask me, you know, if I'm like going to be the up-and-coming designer or something or other. Not really my goal. So, I mean, I have no idea where any of this will lead. I'm just here to give back what I can in what way I can. And so I'm very blessed that you all stick around and are enjoying it. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video, which is, you know, half as long as the other ones, but I haven't really started much. I was focusing a lot on the patterns I have. I tend to start crazy sometimes, and then I end up getting in my own head thinking, oh, I can't start anything new because why am I putting the time into something new when I could be finishing something else? And then, yeah, but I do believe I have 2 patterns in mind to start this week. So that'll be my challenge for this week, is to actually start a couple more, since I did finish Blessings Abound. So that'll be good. I think, yeah, I have it right here. I did get everything ready, set to go. So this is the linen. I got everything ready, set, and prepared to stitch A Token of Love by Blackbird Designs. So it's out of the book When the Leaves Fall, and this was a gift from some of the ladies at the Liberty Hill Needle Workshop. And yeah, I am going to start that this week. So here's the finish. It's called A Token of Love, and their gift was a token of love. So I'm just gonna be thinking of them when I stitch it all this next couple weeks. So that's going to be on my to start plans. And then I'm thinking there's a Pinker Pumpkin quilt and stitching pattern that she released this year that I think I will, for fall. That's one of the houses. I think I will, we'll see if I start that. But yeah, that's my plans for this week, and that's about all I have to share. So I will just go right into the card that I picked out for today. If you are, I won't have any more stitching, but I do have something to share from today. So if you know, me reading the devotional card and talking a little more is not what you're interested in, that's fine. Thank you for coming by, but I'm going to go into this next phase of the video. So today's card says, the thoughts of God. So are my thoughts higher than your thoughts. Isaiah 55:9. We need daily, tender, abiding fellowship with God if we are to enter into his mind and have his thoughts make their home in us. And what a faith is needed to believe that God will not only reveal the beauty and glory of these thoughts, but will so mightily work in us that their divine reality and blessing shall fill our inmost being. What deep reverence and humility and patience we need in waiting upon God by his Holy Spirit to impart to our hearts the life and the light that can make us feel at home with these thoughts. Christ promised that the Spirit would glorify him, would fill us with the light of the heavenly world. So today at church, usually I have a very hard time paying attention at church. Not for anything other than I do have ADHD, and it is very hard for me to just sit and listen without doing something else. But today really hit me hard, which I haven't had that happen in a long time with a sermon, but he was talking about the tongue, and I've heard these scripture verses done over and over. I grew up in church. You know, sometimes it gets very repetitive, and you think you know something, and then you realize you don't know anything, right? Well, that was my moment today. So he was talking about, he spoke in Matthew 15, 17 through 19, and James 3. And it was really just about the relationship between the tongue, or the things that we say, and our heart. And I did not know that the tongue is actually connected to our heart, like physically. It's not metaphoric, like there is actually like stuff that connects the tongue to the heart. So that's why a doctor can tell a lot about the condition of your heart based on what your tongue looks like. So I did not know that. Interesting. And, I'm a very honest person. I hate gossip. So when he's going through the list, I was just like, yeah, we know. Then he was talking about having a critical spirit. And I was like, oh, I try not to do that. Or nagging. I was like, I don't nag my husband. I really don't. He doesn't nag me. And then he got to where he's like, a critical spirit and nagging isn't just about how you treat other people. A critical spirit can definitely be directed at yourself. And that hit me hard. I may not nag other people, but I nag myself a lot. And I am highly critical of myself, to the point where it has become just a natural condition of my mind to be negative about anything I do, or I will have those ruminating thoughts of, I'm a failure. I can't do anything right. I do everything wrong. Why am I, what's even the point? And always negative. Oh, Emily, you screwed up. You said, why did you do that? Why you didn't do that? You didn't do enough. You did too much. You did too low. Always negative, always self-criticizing constantly. And he was talking about how I took notes. A tongue issue is a heart issue because they're connected. And what that issue is it's a failure to receive from Christ something that I, as a Christian, am able to give. So I'm not receiving by being so critical, I'm not receiving from Christ. And in that, I am withholding from others, in a sense. So instead of receiving what is true about myself, I am being self-criticizing. And if I it's thinking about, if I had more confidence in myself, how would that overflow to my kids? How would that overflow to my husband? And honestly, I'll be really honest with you. I have noticed it in my kids. Because sometimes I don't notice I say those things, but my daughter's been starting to pick up on that. She's like, oh, I'm just a failure. It's like, why are you even saying that? I don't know. And then my husband will be like, well, it's because you say it all the time to yourself. And, I think I have just hurt my own heart by being so critical of who I am as a person, to the point where it can't believe anything else. I've broken my own spirit for, and broken myself, and I can't see myself in any other light other than negative. That was huge, and I'm trying not to cry. And I know this is a cross-stitch channel. I understand that. And so that's why I said what I said before. But I just, this is my outlet to share. And I just wanted to share that with you guys. That the tongue is connected to the heart. And it's not about just what we say to others, which is important. But it's about how we treat ourselves. We are made in the image of God. We are an offspring. If we have accepted Christ, we're an offspring of God. And if I hurt so much inside when I hear my own daughter say those things about her, how does my Heavenly Father feel when I say those things about myself? And I'm not really sure how to go about healing that or how to go about working on that, but I honestly think we as women, and even my husband, we live in a world that feasts on negativity all the time, especially in the times that we are living in. But our tongues are connected to our hearts. And are we literally killing ourselves with what we are saying? To what we're saying to the world and what we're saying to each other and what we're saying to ourselves. Because the tongue issue is a heart issue. So he ended his sermon talking about blessing. Remembering who we are and remembering what we have received, and that we can use the words of our mouths and of our hearts to spread blessing. And he defined what blessing meant in a very interesting way. The pastor said, to bless a person is to acknowledge that they belong to God, are a gift of God, that they have high value and purpose to God. Because there's the Bible verse that says, out of our mouths come blessings or cursings. And it's really thinking about which one are we choosing. I know we're in like election season and everybody is acting all sorts of crazy on all sides. Are we blessing or cursing? Are we acknowledging that every person has been created by God? And are we acknowledging that they are a gift? And do we accept that even if they don't agree with us, that they have high value and that they do have a purpose? So just some thoughts to leave you with. Sorry, I didn't mean to get really deep there, but yes, I will be making that video about the new pattern coming up here soon, and I will have it out next Monday. I'm excited to share it with you guys. So be blessed. I find each of you highly valued. You each have a purpose, and you are beautifully and wonderfully made. So I will see you in about a week.